Hello and welcome to our daily market review and analysis. Thank you for joining me. Monday evening we will be looking at the Great British Pound pairs today, along with other charts of interest. So the usual chart we first of all start off with is the Dow Jones Industrial 30, and we have been following this chart since the low we had back in November here. And it appears to me so far is that we've got this wave 1 in parentheses, wave 2 in parentheses, and I seem to think that the whole of this is a part of a wave 3 in parentheses. So in there we've got minor 1, minor 2, minor 3, minor 4 and a minor 5, which I think is probably complete, and minor 4 there. So minor 5 complete, and then so that would give us this wave 3 in bracket, and we could well be in a process of retracing for wave 4, which is relatively mild retracement, and then another wave 5 up. And just looking at this here on a 4-hour chart, as you can see that this perhaps could be 1, 2, and then it's a bit difficult to split. Maybe the whole of this is 3, 4, and maybe this one coming up for 5. So either this wave 3 is finished or is probably very close to, but the very fact that the rising trend line been broken to the downside would suggest to me that whatever wave this one was is complete. So from that perspective, I think the wave 5 of this wave 3 is complete. So we are now retracing for what could be wave 4, and if that is the case, then looking at it on an hourly, you can see that we have come down in what appears to be possibly like an A, B and C kind of a wave. We've gone back up, A, B and C back up, so we've got A, we've got B, so maybe we will continue declining further over the next couple of days, and we would expect then to retrace back to something like around 14,200. Now 14,200 was a 2007 high, so we will come back to that 14,200 and then possibly go on to make another leg higher in order to complete the entire 5-wave move up. So the equity market looks vulnerable, and it is in a process of maybe pulling back, and that might continue for a few days now. The event in the Cyprus over the weekend hasn't helped, because that has thrown all these big gaps, and also gaps in several currencies have sort of suddenly appeared because of what transpired there. And the parliamentary voting to approve the proposal of taxing on deposit is now scheduled for tomorrow. It was scheduled for today, been postponed, so it is now scheduled for tomorrow. So I think market will be fairly volatile depending on what they decide to do with that particular proposal in order for them to gain funding from the ECB. Okay, so now looking at the oil has declined and is in a process of retracing back to the upside. Now if you look at this so far, you could just about make this one possibly 1 and 2, and then this one appears to be, you know, not a very clean wave, maybe 1, 2, one, 2, 3, 4 and 5, or in some way 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Looks like almost that the wave A could well be complete, and we haven't retraced very much. We've only had 1 day of retracement and only 1 day of pullback, and then started pushing again to the upside. So with the oil not showing a clean wave, we might still be in the process of wave A, or it might be that wave A is finished, in which case we would expect to pull back and then another leg higher. So really there is not enough movement on the oil front to tell us if the wave A is finished. But looking at this on a 4-hourly chart, you could make this one as wave A, wave 1, wave 2, possibly wave 3, 4, and maybe 5, in which case the wave A is finished. We should see an ABC retracement back down and then another leg higher. So oil looks also vulnerable for possible correction, and equity seems like it is going to correct, and therefore you would expect dollar index to strengthen. Now the dollar index been rising in this minor trend channel up, and we seem to have broken down from that trend channel. If I was to adjust that trend channel now like so, okay, so as far as this dollar index is concerned, we are counting 5 wave up and we're waiting for that for completion. So we've got wave 1, wave 2, then possibly 3 up to here. And then, as I was explaining yesterday, that we may have 3, and then there could be 2 things happening. We could have wave A, wave B, and wave C, in which case we've got wave 3 and 4 here. Or we have wave 3, wave 4, then 1, A, B, C as a 2, and then we're going to make up. So either way, either we are in a process of finalizing this wave 5, having completed 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, or we have started with the 5 now. And I think because of the see this area here, to me it looks more like if this was 1, this was 2, then this wave 3 is too small. So perhaps we have an expanded flat. An expanded flat would look like this. So we've come up with wave 2, wave 3, then A, B, and C for wave 4, and then we have started off on wave 5. However, there is only one problem with this, is that normally between wave 1 and wave 4 we should see an alternation. And perhaps there is one, in a sense that this one is A, B, and C as a running flat, and whereas on here we've got A, B, and C potentially as a flat. Okay, so for the time being we'll leave it like that. So what we'll do is we will say this is 1, this is 2, 3 here, A, B, C as a 4, and we have now started our wave 5 up there. So we could do wave 4, then -1, -2, -3, -4 and -5 to complete this 5-wave move to the upside, which would culminate with the top being around 84. Okay, so the dollar index will continue higher with a potential top around 84. Right, so we'll come back to some of the other dollar pairs in a moment, but we'll go and look at the British pound pairs we were supposed to be looking at. So in British pound pairs, the first one we'll look at is the euro pound. Now the euro pound, last week we said that we have topped with the wave 5. This is 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and that concluded the wave 3 in double bracket. We are currently retracing for wave 4, and in that retracement we have done wave A down, wave B up, and we are currently in progress of wave C, which I suspect will come back to something around 84, which will be the rising trend line support in that area. And in terms of the minimum has been reached. Talking about here, minimum has been reached, but my feeling is that we will continue this moving down all the way to 84 area. And in this last one, if you look at this, it could be that this is wave 1, this is wave 2, and then this gap is a part of a wave 3, but probably wave 3 is not over. So in that 3 we might see that this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, retracement 4, and then final 5. So I think gradually we should be moving down, staircasing down for a potential low in the area of 84, 84.50 to 84, I think. So euro is going to be coming down against the pound. Pound will be relatively strong in that particular case, even if it should mean that the pound rises moderately but the euro continues to weaken. That would produce the relative strength of the pound against the euro. But basically we are looking for that coming down to 84 or 84.50. Then pound Swissy is likewise retracing to the upside, although we are not going to spend any time analyzing the actual wave count because it has been very difficult to actually make any sense of the wave counts on here. I suspect that there will be like one here, wave 1, wave 2, and then wave 3 is very uncertain, and so I think I'm quite happy to just leave it at that, other than the fact that this is coming up, which means the pound will be potentially weaker against the Swissy, which is rather strange because normally pound does whatever the euro is doing, or rather the Swissy will do whatever euro is doing, and therefore if pound is stronger against euro, it should also be stronger against Swissy. But nevertheless, and again, if you look at this here on daily chart, we've had wave A, B and potentially wave C, and either we have a bit more upside left or we will probably start continuing to make lower low and lower high. But for the time being, it could still gain a bit against the Swissy, like it is gaining against the euro. Then we have a pound CAD. In the pound CAD, we've got what looks like to be some kind of a falling wedge as a possible terminal pattern, and we are looking for low being produced. Either the low is in or will be formed very shortly. Just looking at this, I think the wave, the low is most likely in, and since the low been put in, you can see we've probably moved up, and really the waves are still overlapping, so there could be still one more leg to come. This falling wedge might have to be adjusted a little bit, but we might have one more leg left on this one. Before making a move to the upside. The RSI seems to suggest that possible bottom is in and it's trying to move up on the momentum front, but ideally we need another leg down on this one. Now I gather tomorrow there are a lot of data and economic news scheduled for British pound tomorrow. Various things like inflations and other things like that. So that would probably have an impact on the pound, maybe weakening against Canadian dollar to form that low. And once that is in, then of course it will probably be in the process of now forming a bottom and then beginning to move up. So low could be formed on this one tomorrow. Then you look at the pound New Zealand. Now pound New Zealand obviously has come down quite a lot. Daily chart you can see it's come down a lot. So here we had ABC for wave A in double bracket. Then we had this wave B in double bracket, and here we had ABC. So we are ideally looking for ABC to the downside here also. And I think we've got wave A, wave B and wave C. So I think from that perspective the bottom is in here. Then from the bottom we've had a wave 1 up, then all of this is a retracement, whereas previously what was happening is we were having a very strong thrust to the downside. Here we have a fairly strong sharp bounce, and then this here is a very overlapping and agonizing, so it's part of wave 2 I think. So we got 1 and 2, and now we are in a process of making a wave 3 to the upside, and we have possibly minor 1, minor 2, minor 3, minor 4 and maybe minor 5, and in which case we've got wave 1 up, A, B, C down here to complete that, then begin to go up. So maybe this one we could have that potentially as a wave 1 in bracket, and then maybe over here we have wave 2 in bracket, and then once we form a bottom we should be making a strong movement to the upside if our wave labelings are correct. So we've got basically looking like 1, 2, and then in a part of a 3 we've also got 1 and 2. So next one should be wave 3 of 3. So the trade long on pound New Zealand we've been expecting to get in didn't materialize earlier on. We had a substantial sell-off, and then we've now bounced back, but I think we could still finish up with low around 180, 181 70 area maybe for possible wave 2 retracement. Then we continue higher, and in which case we still got potential head and shoulder pattern forming here with a double, almost like a double bottom, left shoulder, right shoulder, and taking off. So this is the 4-hour chart. So I suspect maybe tomorrow with a news event lined up for British pound, we could see that major this decline to complete this wave A, wave B, and we are in a process of forming wave C to complete that wave 2 retracement. So pound will be weaker against New Zealand dollar, against Canada, and then pound against Aussie. Now the chart from the Aussie is very much like the New Zealand, however this area a little bit difficult, and if I was to count this as 1, this as 2, then this could be 3, but then we have that as an overlapping. But this definitely looks like an impulsive leg. So what I think we have here is maybe this kind of a rising wedge of the low, which means it is a leading diagonal. Now if that is a leading diagonal, then we've got wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, and this one being wave 5, in which case we are now looking for retracing A, B and C to the downside, and currently we are in the process of doing that. So I would expect this one to complete wave. So if this is the leading diagonal with the 5 waves, wave 1, then we got A, B and C as the wave 2 potentially. So in which case that's what we're looking for here, is a pound to decline a bit more, and potentially then that would be like a wave 2, then it will be also setting off in a wave 3 to the upside. So pound Aussie is also ready for potentially going long on completion of this retracement. So that's the British pound against Aussie. Then now we have pound yen. Now the pound yen has been rising from the bottom here, where we have wave 1 and wave 2, and then all of this here is the part of wave 3, in which we've got 1, 2, this is a 3, this one is a 4, and maybe we're in a process of finishing this wave 5. And in the wave 5, it's very, see here, looking at this one was quite neat and clean, very neat and clean, where we had price within the price channel, and we also had waves fairly clear. So this one is a wave 4, so we must be in a wave 5, and wave 5 I think is not finished, because I think this one where we have this decline, that decline up to here could be this wave 4, this decline to here is wave 4, then from there we go wave 1 and wave 2, and then we're in a wave 3, which means that this leading diagonal is 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, so that would complete wave 3. So maybe we go 1 and 2, 3, and then this perhaps could be 4, which probably not finished yet, and then we'll have a wave 5. So I think what we're going to get is possibility that this one will complete the retracement, then head higher and almost retest this last low, or make a new minor higher low, and that would complete then the wave 3. So we got wave 1, wave 2, and then all of these are part of wave 3, and we are in a final piece of completing wave 3, from where we would then see a deeper retracement, wave 4, before continuing higher. So as far as the pound yen is concerned, really no trade at the moment, because it's too high a risk on both sides, whether you go long or you go short. So I would continue to monitor that, and ideally what we want is, we want this wave 3 complete, we want it to pull back, and then we would be looking to join in from wave 4 for the wave 5 up. Is that what we are looking for if we decide to trade pound yen? So pound, relatively speaking, looks like it's going to be weak against Canada, New Zealand and Aussie for a little while. and it's going to be relatively stronger against Euro and Swissy. And then if we have a quick look at the Euro before we go on to the other pairs, we're going to look at Euro tomorrow anyway. Euro Canada is trying to finish off this decline, with this area, as you can see, just been basically sideways, and it looked like this one here could be setting up, not very clear, but could be setting up with some kind of an ending diagonal to form a low, and in which with this one will be wave 1, possibly 2, 3, maybe current retracement 4, like that, and then possibly one more drive down to finish this ending diagonal maybe. And then longer term we'd have to see exactly what wave count we do have, because so far this has made it very difficult, but maybe what we still got is wave 1 and 2, and then as a part of a 3 we've got 1 and 2, and therefore we expect a fairly sharp, a fairly strong rally once the bottom is in, because it will be wave 3 of 3, just as we mentioned in the pound against New Zealand and against Aussie. So still forming the bottom, and that might happen tomorrow after the news from the Cyprus Parliament about approving the tax levy on the deposit accounts. Euro New Zealand still trading sideways, potentially going to put a bottom. And then Euro Aussie has come down deeper, and in the same way as we mentioned on the Euro Canada, is that Euro Aussie here also we would have to come back and examine the actual wave count. But again, on this one what we got is a larger wave 1 in bracket, wave 2 in bracket, and then we've got minor 1 and minor 2, but it's very deep minor 2, and really speaking, we should form a bottom in the current area. We haven't got a long to go, otherwise that might breach. If it falls below 123.50, then the entire count will have to change possibly somehow, and maybe what we might finish up is a wave 1, and then wave A, a much expanded larger wave B, and then this coming down as a wave C. Not ideal, but maybe that way. So then we'll finish up with wave 1 and wave 2, and then going up in a wave 3. But either way, as soon as we have the bottom here, we are looking for a strong move to the upside, as we also noted against the pound Aussie and pound New Zealand. So that's the Euro. We'll go over onto the other side now and look at the dollar Canada. So dollar Canada, we are expecting this bottom to form as a part of wave 4. So we've had wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, this one retracing for wave 4, and we should see another leg up here for wave 5 in order for the pound Canada to top, probably forming a top in the region of anywhere up to about 1.04 to 1.035. And then we should see on the next drive up, we should see RSI forming a significant divergence, which would then also confirm that the top in the dollar Canada is in place, and we should be able to short dollar Canada around 1.035 to 4. Then we look at the euro pound, a pound dollar. Now the pound dollar, after having declined significantly, we have expected a low to form in this area because it's 61.8% retracement of the entire leg up from the low in 2009 to high there. So it comes 61.8% retracement. and likewise this leg up also 61.8% comes in at the same place. So we've got two cycle degrees, 61.8% plus this minor declining trend channel coming into place, and several other Fibonacci projections. We do have a divergence on the RSI, and it would seem that the low is in and that we have started to move up, and in that progression we've got minor 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, so that's wave 1. ABC retracement is the wave 2, and we've started a wave 3, so we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to wave 3. This is probably part of wave 4, and what it looks like to me at the moment is probably some kind of a triangle forming, which you find in a wave 4 normally, and therefore on the completion of that we expect a wave 5 up, like so. So we'll get wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4 and wave 5, and then another decline. So against the dollar, this is wave A, 1, 2, or wave A, B, C, D, E. So we may congest a bit more in this triangle, and in the breakout we will go for a wave 5. So pound looks positive against the dollar. Pound looks like has a at least an intermediate bottom in place, if not the major significant one. So what we're expecting is completion of this triangle, then wave 5, so that will be 5 wave sequence up to form either a 1 or an A, and then retracement as a B or a C, a B or a 2 rather, and then we have another leg up, either wave 3 or a C. So basically we will finish up with A, B, C up retracement, or if this is significant bottom, then we might have that as 1, 2, and then going up on the 3, 4 and 5 like that. So for the time being we're expecting minor drive up, and then ABC retracement, then another leg up basically. So from here we're looking for basically sideways to an upside against the dollar on the pound. And then this is why, if the pound has put a bottom in, this is why we can see on pound Canada, pound New Zealand, and also against pound Aussie, that whilst we may weaken a little bit, but the bottom appears to be in, and that we will be ready to go long on those currency pairs. And then the final one we're looking at is the euro dollar. Now in the euro dollar, I think a longer term, I've explained before that we have possibility of this being A, B and C. Then currently we are forming a wave X, and then we'll get another A, B, C to the upside like here. So we've got July low here, we got September high as an A, B and C, then we get X, then we get another A, B, C to the upside. Or we have what I've labeled here as wave A, wave B and wave instead of an A, we got from July low we got W, X, Y, X, Z. So as soon as this current retracement finishes and the bottom is formed in the area of 128.50 or 128.30, 128.80 to 128.50 rather, then we are looking for this next leg to go up, and that will form this wave Z. So we'll have W, X, Y, X, Z to retest the February high, or maybe even make a new minor higher high. Alternately, we could see this one as possibly some sort of an ABC retracement for wave B, and then coming down back again for wave C eventually before taking off. My preference is this one, which is once we have an X, we get another leg up to retest the February high. And if you look at this wave down, to me, in comparison with the way the price went up, this has taken much longer and it has been very overlapping, so that looks very, very corrective. So if it's a corrective, it must be correcting this leg up. So in that case, I expect a bottom to form here and then continue higher. In the shorter term, if you were to look at that, then we've got few different ways of counting this possibly, and I'm not sure which of them will in the end actually be technically correct, although all of them is suggesting possibly a bottom in this area. Is that we have this W, X, Y, X, Z, so like a triple zigzag to give us a wave A, wave B, and then we should get another triple zigzag if that is a triple zigzag. So W, X, Y, then all of this is a part of an X, and then another one Z. Or we've got possibly like a W, X and Y as the wave A, then A, B and C as the wave B, and then we got 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 as the wave A, B, C retracement as wave B, and then we're coming back down. We see all of this here is horizontal almost, so that's some kind of a side wave correction. So if this is wave A, then we've got ABC as a wave A, ABC down as a wave B, and then this as a C, and then currently we're looking for a final leg. So I think really in this final leg we got 1, 2, this gap down is 3 possibly, maybe completing 4, another leg down. But what I am expecting somehow is that we get this final leg down to form a bottom in the region of 128.80 or maybe 128.50, and I think really that is not going to be confirmed or cleared for us until we have that announcement from the Cyprus Parliament, before we are ready to say that we are looking for a bottom here, and then we'll be making a higher high and higher low from there on to the upside. And in terms of the symmetry, where we had this one here to there, we had like 86 bars rather. Then from here to today, we've done now 87 bars. So I think we're still, broadly speaking, within the vicinity of potential bottom being formed within a symmetry, and we have a like a day or two margin on either side. So Friday would have been ideally the 86, 87. So today 86 rather, and today we've done with this 87. So we should be forming a bottom soon in that area. I think I'm looking for euro then to go long basically. So and the dollar has a way to go. So the only other thing I think of is maybe we might get a bit more sideways congestion, and it's becoming very, very complex really. It's almost impossible now to count which way the waves are going, and we are getting minor divergence forming on the 4-hour and on the daily. So most likely we should find that some way the bottom will be formed in this area, but in terms of the wave count it is very difficult. It's difficult because it's so overlapping, and it's basically, I mean, can you imagine, we've been going almost from here, we've been just simply going sideways. So if we say from here, so we've had like A, B and C, and then all of this is some kind of a sideways movement. but it's definitely not an impulsive, and it's not new trend to the downside being developed. I think it is clearly retracement, clearly very corrective kind of overlapping waves. So euro could be forming a bottom soon, but from the perspective of dollar index, we are suggesting that dollar index has a bit more to go up. It's got basically to finish this, and again we've been unclear on that, but if the wave count we've just applied is correct, then we've got a wave 4. We're looking for 5-wave move to the upside, from which we've got 1, 2 probably in, then you've got 3, 4 and 5. So if that was to correspond with the euro dollar, then with the euro USD, I can't really imagine euro USD dropping down a lot more, but if we did decide to come down, then really speaking this would be the final level here, which is 61.8% retracement of this entire leg up. That comes in the area of 126.80. So if you round it up, say 127, but I'm not really expecting it to get to 127. I think the low should be formed in the current area. We have a clear divergence beginning to develop on daily and 4-hour. We have time symmetry of 87 days, 86 and 86, 1 day over, and this is also suggestive of bottom being formed fairly soon. So we'll have to wait till tomorrow, I think, before we get in clarity. And whilst this is going on, I suggest that due to pattern not being very clear, is to be very careful about committing money on any trades, certainly on any large position. So keep the position very small, or basically avoid trading this choppy wave, because it's almost impossible to really try and trade this unless you happen to be accidentally catch the right one, and at the moment in terms of range, we are right in the middle. There's no way to gain any real advantage there. What I do see is we've had this wave A, this probably B, so maybe between now and tomorrow we might see one more drive up, not a huge one, maybe partly to close some of that gap and then decline. So we might bounce between now and new London session tomorrow, and then possibly by the time the Cyprus vote is due, we will probably see a decline. Okay, well, that is all at the moment. Other than the fact that the pound Canada, pound New Zealand and pound Aussie are potentially developing a possible low that could happen tomorrow, and then we'll be looking to go long on them. So that way we could definitely consider a possible long entry on one of those pairs, and maybe we'll have something similar for Euro Aussie and Euro New Zealand, but at the moment Euro USD is very unclear, and dollar Canada is suggesting another move up along with the dollar index itself, and dollar index to be strengthening, in which case we are also expecting the equity market and oil possibly to weaken. Okay, so I will look forward to joining you tomorrow, and maybe we'll have a bit more clarity tomorrow. In the meantime, I wish you well in your trading, and certainly be careful for any large position, because the market is churning and there's a lot of uncertainty at the moment in the market. And any other questions or comment, please let me know either by Skype or by email, and I will try and incorporate it in my session tomorrow when we cover the euro pairs along with the other charts of interest that we normally cover. Okay, so I'll stop the recording here. and we'll post it out to you as soon as it's ready.